Hello, Greg. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Kendall?
I'm doing fantastic. Welcome back to episode 10 of We're Literally Obsessed. We're two brothers, Kendall and Greg.
That's
That's
me.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
him. We go over what we're obsessed with. This week, we actually have another shared obsession.
Yes, we
We
do.
figured out that this episode is going to hit, as long as we stay consistent with our timing, is
Mm-hmm.
going to hit during the beautiful month of June, which
Mm-hmm.
is Pride Month. Something we
Woo!
both celebrate.
Uh-huh.
And so our shared obsession this week is just being gay as hell.
Yeah. Sorry, Dad. You can skip this episode if you want. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're just gonna obsess over gay. But I guess first, how have you been? How have you been since last week?
This week has been, it's a good and bad week, I guess you could say. It's good because I'm like starting my new job, which is really nice, working from home. I love that.
He's made it back to corporate America.
Yes, I have. And then it's also been good because Danny's back, but it was also bad because Danny ended up being sick, so I ended up taking care of Danny. And he literally leaves, today's Sunday, he leaves tomorrow, and he just started getting healthy yesterday. So, it's been a mixed bag.
But you know what? You got to be caretaker. You know, if he was feeling
Exactly.
well, he would have been all over the place doing a bunch of different things. So
That is so true.
yeah, maybe it wasn't good for him, but it was good for you.
Well, no, see, the thing is, he also kept getting. He has that same thing that you do, which I think I've referenced it before in the podcast, but you cannot sit still. And even when he's sick, he's like, I can't spend any more time in this house. It's not making me feel better. I need to get out of here. And I'm like, you are sick.
The only thing that ever made me sit still was catching COVID, and I would wake up, put on a mask because I have a whole roommate, go to the kitchen, make coffee. By the time I got back to my bedroom, I was like, I could go back to sleep right now. Like, that's the only thing that made me be like, maybe I should just sit at home. And you know what's crazy? At the beginning of this podcast, I talked about how, maybe I should chill out and like be more relaxed, because those like 2 weeks that I was just stuck at home doing nothing, I ended up feeling a lot better. I was so well rested. The bags under my eyes were gone. They were just like cute little baguettes at that point.
Right?
I didn't follow through on that at all.
Yeah,
I've
I
been back
remember.
busy. Now we're in full moving mode. My house is nothing but boxes. It feels like that old show from PBS. What is it? Out of the Box.
We love that show.
I love that show. But yeah, I guess you didn't ask me how it was, but I'm gonna just
I mean,
take
I was
over at this
definitely
point.
making my way there, but you didn't give me a
But
chance.
you know what? Let's jump. No. Let's jump back into it, Greg. How are you still doing?
I'm doing good. Just kind of like mentally on my checklist and like starting a lot of new things, and now just helping Danny get ready for his convention that he's about to leave for. How are
Yes.
you, Kendall?
Oh my God, Greg. Thanks for asking. I don't know. I guess I feel good. You know, we're back to our normal. I'm only staring at your forehead. So I think.
Yeah, no more shared screen.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It felt very YouTube vloggery to be on the bed, but it
Yeah.
was what it was.
Really, my back pain was kicking in on the bed.
Girl, I know that's how I can tell I'm getting old. I'm like, look, I may have reduced a couple of wrinkles with the skincare regimen, but my body still feels 27.
Also,
I get why cavemen died at 40.
Right, but also I'd love to let people know that I think it was during the Met Gala episode. Mom came in and knocked and was like, "It's time for dinner." And Kendall was so over it. Kendall was like, "No, I'm not eating."
You know, I have not gotten to that point, because I told you, I was like, I was in filming mode. I was like, I had all of my thoughts lined up. It's almost like my brain works like Spotify Q. I constantly like, and maybe this is just me and how chaotic my brain is, but like, I will put on a playlist. Let's just say it's called Summer's Evening Playlist. But then I'm like, this one song plays. I'm like, oh, that's so good. That puts me in the mood to listen to this song, which would then segue really good to this song, which would then segue really good to this song. So like, I'm just like 10 songs deep in my queue. And then mom comes through and she's like, okay, time for dinner. And I'm just like, I can't clear the queue. Like I literally sat at dinner just like not speaking. It took me maybe
Kendall-
20 minutes into that meal for me to like snap back into,
Yeah.
oh, I'm awake and around family right now.
Basically, the whole meal, Kendall's disassociated. He was just like, and I was like, Kendall,
I was
what
just
the
like
hell?
a Spotify playlist put on pause.
See, exactly. He was fully he was not talking. He was disassociated, and he was like had a million mile off stare, and I was just like, Kendall, Kendall, come back to us. Come
I
back to
could
reality.
not, girl.
Yeah, he was so. But I thought it was hilarious because it reminded me as a kid, like, me and Kendall would always be getting into something like making up a new game or like doing something like that. So mom would be like, time for dinner. And we had to put down what we were doing. We're like, okay, we'll be right back. And then we go to our thing. And it gave me that energy. So I thought it was so funny that mom was like, boys, dinner. And then Kendall's just like, I can't. Literally, he's like, I can't.
I tried to tell you, you know, and it's my thing. I have to work on that.
It was so funny just because, like, mom called us for dinner and Kendall's literal response was, I can't. And I was like, Kendall, the food's going to get, we're coming, mom. I was like, Kendall, we have to go.
she was just like, oh.
Uh-huh.
I like, it wasn't even a meme. I was just like, I can't, like, I'm queued up right now. I cannot go.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We made it through. We just refreshed. It took me a minute to get back in the groove. We queued everything back up. Honestly, that is how my brain works. And you know, shout out to all my other people. I say neurodivergent because I literally was told by our mom's therapist one time that she thought I was autistic. So
True.
I'm not saying that just to be like one of those people that just use whatever fun little mental health term is running around this week. I think this runs deep.
Yes.
And you know what? I still operate. It's just, you know, don't make me clear my Spotify queue. But other than that, we're packing, we're working. Honestly, by the time this episode comes out, I will be in Colorado. So, you know, y'all pray for me because right now I promise you I'm about 10 levels of sweaty, exhausted. I would have just driven halfway across the country. And let me tell you, when I was like, oh, I'm moving to Colorado, I'm going to be so close to like California and the West Coast. I'm going to go see everything. No, girl. It literally is the middle of the country. And it's going to take 24 hours from the East Coast, but it still takes like 20 hours to get to the West Coast. I'm like, shit, I ain't think this part through.
Kendall, I fully thought you like knew that it was like more, you know, middle.
And you know what? That's on me for just, you know, living in my little corner. I've only ever existed on the East Coast. We used to travel out to Kansas, and I thought that was the middle. It's a lot closer. But it's not I think Colorado's 24 hours and Kansas is like 18. So it's only a 6-hour difference. But still, like 6 hours is crazy.
Also, it's too bad that we don't have family in Kansas anymore. You could just like, oh, I'm going over to Blue Rapids today.
I know. Also, highlight of my week. I told you this yesterday, and I'm bringing it back up. Shout out to my favorite TikTok page, Sinister Pond Babe. She covered Marysville, Kansas, which is the town just north of where we used to go every single summer in Blue Rapids.
I mean, we also went to Marysville to be
I mean,
like,
it
quite a bit.
It had the Walmart. We went to Marysville. It wasn't the same. Like it was still like the small little Blue Rapids town, but like our family was more or less from there, and so. She did a whole video about it, and then I commented on her video, and then she responded, liked my comment and responded, and I'm just like, okay, thank you. And the way I got her was just being like, hey, they have this country fair, and there's lots of humble, gorgeous men out there, because it's one of her things is like she sees like these burly countrymen, and she's like, hi, sir, and that's something I've stolen from her.
I didn't realize you'd use that. I didn't realize that's where it came from.
And you know what? At this point, that TikTok page is at least 10% of my personality. That's where Naturacle comes from as well. So I cannot help but shout out Sinister Pond Babe. It is one of my absolute favorite for all of my little girlies, gays, and theys out there who grew up in the trailer parks and are, you know, outgrew the small town vibe, but it's still your hometown. This is the page for you. She's so funny.
Anytime you've shown me her stuff, I end up laughing.
Exactly.
But it was fun seeing her go through Marysville, you know.
Yes. And she just goes through and zooms through different towns and does different commentary. My favorite gauge of the population is she's like, oh, we'd get hate crimed here. Or, oh, we can find us a couple men here. Or, oh, we could really find us a husband, get married, and settle down in this one. And that's just her gauge for how gay the town is. And she loves when there's a prison in the town. She wants a prison romance so bad. I love her so much. Her page is so funny. And honestly, I can tell when people have been through a similar background and have similar mindset to me because they find it funny too. So anyway, got a little like and a comment back from her. So my week was made. That's been my week. Packing, commenting, dissociating, the usual.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess now we can jump into your oot.
Yes. Today's oot, on theme with being gay, is just me. You know, it is part of me, but it's not all of me. I didn't want to go flashy. One, I don't even have a lot of like pride or like rainbow gear at all, which, you know, maybe is my fault, but also we'll work on it. Honestly, bold colors is not in my palette. I'm more of an autumnal vibe. So bright colors isn't really me. So I don't really own too much of that, but I'm not against it. I do have a cute little Coach purse, but it didn't really match the outfit today. So um, this is just a little black tank top. This is the same one I wore back on the Janelle Monáe episode. And you know what? I just have to say, my favorite little fashion advice to anybody: layer your shit, and you can rewear it 1,000 times, and no one would ever know.
Sure.
So just wearing this cute little like tank top turtleneck, all black today. Then we have probably my favorite pants. I just feel so academic, so studious in these. They are these like brown and like lighter brown with beige like pattern worked in, like a checkered pattern, dog tooth pattern worked in plaid pants. Absolutely love them from ASOS. I wear these all the time. They're high waisted. Honestly, these are the pants that made me realize high waisted is a look for me. Then just have on like a little black belt to go with the black boots and the black leather. And then I have a little gold buckle because I'm wearing gold jewelry. I'm wearing this ring that Mom and Kaylee bought for me separately. I made an Amazon list for Christmas. They both bought me the same ring.
Yes.
And the look on my sister's face, or Kaylee's face, I don't know why I say it like that. The look on Kaylee's face when we were at Mom's like a week before Christmas, and I open up this ring and she's just like, ugh. And I'm just like, ugh.
To be fair, Kaylee went through it that Christmas, which was last Christmas,
Yes.
because that was the same year she had bought me. Actually, I could show. She bought me this Piplup Squishmallow, because Piplup's my favorite Pokemon, and I had already bought one for myself because I saw it and I was like, oh, that's cute. I want it in my office for my office chair, and so I have another one that stays on the bed. That's the one she got me. It still has the tag on it. She came into came over for something.
Yeah.
And she walked into the room and she saw it and she literally just went, "Are you fucking serious?" I was like, "What is your problem?" So the ring she got you ended up getting two.
Yes.
Then the Squishmallow she had gotten me, I'd already gotten.
And
So
you know
she was
what?
going through it that year.
The more the merrier. In this
Yeah,
case, I learned
exactly.
actually like I like double stacking these. Like I got it originally for a pinky ring, but I guess I haven't sized my hand since I've lost some weight, but I now use it as just ring finger, and it looks so cute the way I little double stacked them. Then I have my gold bracelet. For the necklace, I did my little G gold necklace that I have, and then my little set of fake pearls from Amazon. And truly, I put this outfit together and was just like, this is cozy, this is me. And then I looked in the mirror, and it reminded me of this TikTok, and it said, "The gays love to dress like Princess Diana." And
I've
unfortunately,
seen that.
today I cannot fight the allegations.
You know what? You really cannot. I see
And I'm not
it.
going to. She's a gay icon. She's on theme. It works out. But today was just something a little casual, a little Kendall, because, being gay is part of who I am. So I just wanted to dress like I would dress.
Yeah. Also, that reminded me of, so last weekend we were up at Mom's, obviously, and it was so funny because we were talking about like what modern dating is, how it works and stuff like that, and explaining like how the gays work to them. And when we told them about like, it's really popular in the gay community right now for gays to dress like a straight lumberjack, and it's really popular for the straights to dress like a 2012 Tumblr gay. It messed with their heads, and they were just like, you could like see the gears turning and everything. It was so funny, and they're like, you know what? I kind of see it, and then you're like, yeah, because this and this. The straights are wearing this now, and the gays, they love a good flannel and da da da. And they were just like, wow.
Yeah.
It was just like blowing their mind, up in their little mountain town where they don't see much anymore. Like just telling them how the dating world and everything is so funny.
Yeah. And you know what? Let the people dress how they want to dress, but I can't say I'm going to partake. I do love a good flannel.
Well, you already went through your lumberjack stage. That was your
Yeah.
transitioning into being gay.
Which we'll get into.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so that is the oot today. Just something cute and casual and little Princess Diana for him. How is your, or oh my God, not how is. What is your doll of the episode, Greg?
Well, first off, we started recording and I did not grab one, so I'm going to go pick one out now. Okay, so my doll of the episode today is Jet Dawson from Rainbow High. Yes, I did go basic. We were talking about Pride. I grabbed one with a rainbow in her hair. But she was the first ever, I'm pretty sure, the first ever collector doll from Rainbow High.
Oh.
Yes, and she is a controversial queen. Um, we love her
Okay.
because, okay, a lot of people dislike Jet for multiple reasons. One reason being they think the pink in her hair should be red. They think the pink rainbow is like a mess.
Okay.
But also, she came with a second outfit, which was like this red dress that does not match her at all. So people are like, why does she have it? But her thing is, she's a designer. So it was like she designed this dress, not
Yeah.
necessarily to wear it, but people said, why would she come with the second outfit if it doesn't even look good on her? It's,
Damn.
it's a whole controversy. And then on top of that, so there was a character named, how do I explain this? There's a character named Crystal Bailey. Actually, I can show you. She's right here. This is Crystal Bailey. Okay. She was the Indigo doll who came out with Series 2. We'll just place her right here for a second. And come on, Crystal, get on screen. Okay, I can't get her on screen. I can't figure it out right now. Crystal is a doll from Series 2, but her original name was Jet Dawson. And she also had like a Latin skin tone. But the community started calling out Rainbow High for not having enough diversity. So they script the original like kind of Latina looking Jet Dawson.
Yeah.
And then made her this beautiful deep toned diva, Crystal Bailey.
Okay.
So she was originally Jet Dawson, but they like redesigned her in order to make, and then they reused Jet Dawson to make this collector doll,
Okay.
which we love that. And then also she's the only doll that has, she's the most articulated doll Rainbow High has ever released.
Articulated.
Yeah. So articulation is just like points of like they can move like elbow, wrist, shoulder. But this doll, she
Head,
has
shoulders, knees, toes.
she has articulated ankles and also like a rib joint.
Oh.
So she has
Okay.
like more articulation points, and they never use that articulated body again, which is sad because more articulation is good for like posing, photography, things like that. You can do
Yeah.
more. So
I love the drama. I love the tea. Like one doll, so much issues.
and then yeah, she was the first collector doll like ever. I was super excited when she came out. I don't know if you remember, but we were both working at the same company at the time, and we were going on our walks, and like she was being like teased because she was on the front of like a magazine in the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this doll, Kendall, she's so beautiful, I can't wait for her to come out, da, da, da. And she came out as the first collector doll. There was numbered editions, like there's 1,000 numbered of her. I did not get one of the numbered
I
ones.
can't say that's something I retained, you know?
Yeah,
My memory has like a limit. There's like a, you know how you just have to clear out your emails every once in a while? That's me.
Exactly. I fully understand because it's useless information to you, but yeah, she's really great, and I love her outfit. It's like this
It's
whole
giving
sketched vibe.
2010 Lady Gaga to me, honestly.
I mean, I can definitely see that, but I love that like it has this like I think it's kind of Moschino inspired. It almost looks like drawn, if you can tell.
Yeah.
Like it's like sketched white and black, even down to the shoes.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I see the vision. I'm not going to say it's at the top. It's one of my faves. But I definitely see, like, it was a vision that was brought to life. If I had designed it and I was like, okay, like, I'm doing this as, like, I'm a designer, sketchbook-esque type things in mind, I like it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. And, like, the half and half hair is cute. Very trendy of the time that it was made. I don't know why people hate her. I mean, like, obviously just tell me why people hate her so much, but
Yeah, a lot of people do hate her, but I actually really like her.
I like it. She's cute. I mean, like, there's so many other dolls that released that I like more. Now, would I have collector edition to this? Maybe not. I still think the Chinese New Year doll that you showed,
Oh, by far.
so much better. But she's cute.
Yeah, but this was like the first ever collector doll, and when I really like her face, I like her thing. Now, I do think she would have more impact if her hair was half black and half white, since she has this whole sketch vibe going.
Yeah.
Like I think it would have been more cohesive, but I really like her. She's really special to me. She was the first collector doll that ever came out, so I was so excited when I got my first Rainbow High collector doll. It was really fun. But I really like her. She's very
here for the memes. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like it.
And
She's
again,
cute.
the articulated body. I don't know why they got rid of it, but it's so good.
Yeah, the Sharpie marks on the legs is cute and fashionable. It definitely looks like, someone colored on their siblings Barbie, but
Yeah. Again, I think that's like a Moschino reference, but also this is a whole hoodie underneath this jacket. So if you take the jacket off, it's a whole
oh,
hoodie with like she's so layered and so many details. She's really
okay.
nice. Our controversial queen,
Not me
but
yawning in the middle of it, girl.
our controversial queen, but we still love her nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my doll of the episode, Jet Dawson from Rainbow High.
Okay. So for the topic, I really just in general want to go over kind of our gay experience a little bit in general. Maybe we'll do an episode in the future, and I'm sure we've sprinkled some information along the way.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, last episode we fully went over like the gay awakenings, where we were like, "Ooh, that moved for him."
Exactly.
And so I guess I want to start this with something fun where we can just shade each other to hell. Moments throughout childhood where we're just like, I'm putting a bookmark on that moment because this feels like somebody might be hiding something. Okay. I already know where I'm starting with you.
Okay, I know where I can start with the both of us. Like it's a moment where it's like, because it's so hard, because any of the moments where I'm like, okay, Kendall, that was questionable, I was there doing something similar. You know what I mean?
No, I'm talking like beyond like just like gender norms. I'm talking like I think this man gets bricked up for men.
Okay, but I was gonna say my first.
Okay, you can still go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was still gonna say my first one was you and me wearing t-shirts on our head for hair, and then putting our shirts inside out to make like a bra.
And you know what? There was a little. Yeah, you know what? That is a part of the gay community. There was a little drag that we did.
Yeah, it was our drag. We were being WWE divas.
Do you remember our Dollar Tree hair tracks?
Girl, I thought I was the only one. I was like, I am serving hair flip.
There were these headbands that Dollar Tree sold, and it had like Angelica doll from Rugrats, 5 strands of hair on.
Yeah, it was a headband with tinsel and hair, and it would go down in the back. Girl, we were out there
So it's supposed to blend
trailer
into
park
like
mullets.
your natural long hair. Girl, we had buzz cuts.
Exactly. We're out there with trailer park mullets, fully.
Fully. You had neon green for Lita because we were making ourselves after wrestlers. I got a nice little honey blonde, which honestly was a cute color for me.
Yeah.
And we had these on and then made our little t-shirt bras, and then we were like on the trampoline fighting, and then when anybody in the neighborhood like on a car drove by, we like flattened ourselves on. Yeah, like we were like hiding, like nobody could see us. And like, girl, the neighbors had windows.
Right.
So
Could you imagine though? Someone looks out their window and they see us flipping our head with
5 strands of hair,
so
pretending to do WWE moves on the trampoline.
But I love that we had the like. We're like, oh, we have to wear these outside.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but we knew what we
it.
had to do.
Right,
And
exactly.
There was,
Good for us on that.
we had a mission and we achieved it. So yeah, we slayed the trampoline down boots with that. That was definitely, I want to take this outside of gender norms. That was definitely gay for sure. And falling into the Q area where it's just like questioning queer. Just kind of like, a little bit of drag, experimenting with gender norms. But I think of it sexually is like something different. Like you can dress and be whoever you want, but you have your gender identity and your sexual identity.
Right.
So first time I ever clocked your little preference, we were on a field trip in high school. We were on our way to Duke University because they had some sort of like interactive 3D lab, which at this point is just like Oculus VR type stuff. Like, but back then it was like 2012. It was cutting edge.
This was in high school.
Yes, and this is on like an old little phone. We weren't even on Team iPhone yet. It was some like random Samsung Android.
Do you even remember what years it was? I had to be.
I think it was my sophomore year. I think so. That
Yeah,
would
I was
have been
thinking I was a
2012.
junior.
I think it would have been like fall 2012. So, at this point, things that are out on the internet, maybe it was my freshman year. It was 2011. But, like, think back to when Pitch Perfect, beginning of Ariana Grande's career for, like, the real girls, gays, and days out there. Like, just peak 2011, 2012. Tumblr is the site to be on if you're cool. I went on there and made a Halloween mood board, and it was just the Disney theme parks at Halloween.
Uh-huh.
Again, another thing where we're just like, I don't know, girl.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, so we're on the way to this field trip, and then we're looking up something. And Greg's like, oh, like I'll look this up on my phone with our internet. And this is back when like 3G was, or 4G was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls up his Google search and he clicks his little search bar.
Oh my God.
In purple text, it is like Sims custom content.
Mm-hmm.
And then directly above that, gay porn.
I had two things that were important to me on the internet, and I will let you know those were it.
Yeah. And then we are sitting there, you know, I mean, I'm just like, and then he's like, oh, Google, just suggesting stuff. You know how it is. I'm like,
Girl, I was panicking. I had not a single, I was just
like we all knew, but I let Greg have his secret. I was like, it's okay.
uh-huh.
I'm not going to say nothing. So fully found that you were Google searching, not incognito mode, gay porn on your phone.
And I knew better.
You
know
knew
what?
better.
I knew what incognito
And that's on you.
was. So, if this is the level we're going at, I know exactly where to start. You know exactly where I'm going to start.
I knew where you were going to go after I said that, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys, this is letting you know like how much of like an ally I was. I mean, I guess I was more than an ally. I was a closet gay myself. But like I was there.
You can
to
ally
sibling.
your own movement. I'll support that.
Because Kendall had the respect for me in that moment, and I paid it back on this time because in high school, our high school started this program where they would give laptops when students came in. It started with my year, so you were the second year to get laptops.
Yep.
And we were allowed to take the laptops home. And don't worry, you guys, these were shitty ass laptops. It was not anything fancy. It's like basically you had Word, PowerPoint, and Google. Like they were not great.
Essentially, yeah.
But also we knew how to get past the security. That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, so we had these laptops, and me and Kaylee decided one day that we wanted to play. Kendall was on the main computer. That was the computer that had Sims and World of Warcraft and all that stuff. So me and Kaylee were like, we're going to do Club Penguin or something like that. I don't
Probably
remember.
Pop Tropica. That was our obsession at the time.
Well, we were going to play together, and Pop Tropica is like a separate thing. We were going to do something together because I was on my bed and she was on your bed. And I was like, she had like asked you if she could use your school laptop so we could play something together. You said yeah. So she sat on your bed. I sat on my bed and opened my laptop, and I was going to the website, and she opened it and she was like, like just like that with her eyes bigger than I've seen. And if y'all seen her sister, she has big eyes, and it was just like, no, it's not it's all, she has big eyes,
No,
and
she
her
does.
eyes were huge. She was like, and I was like, what? And I like put my laptop down and go over. Tell me why. She pulls up the screen, and there is just a plethora of men fucking. Multiple tabs also, let me let you know. Multiple tabs. And it was just gay porn. So much gay porn. And then I go over there, I shut it all down, close all tabs, open up a fresh new internet, and she's just looking at me bewildered, looking for an explanation. And I was just like,
Sorry, girl.
I was like, there's like viruses and stuff. They like pull that up, and so Kendall's computer just probably has a virus. I'm sure he can fix it later. I did not say a word. And Kaylee was like, okay. She was ready to believe whatever she could be told to give her peace of mind for all the gay sex she just saw thrusted into her eyeballs.
It was only one video.
Right. It was one video on that tab.
Yeah.
But so she was just like, okay. And I never brought this up to Kendall. In fact, the first time I ever brought this up to Kendall was when Kendall pulled up. He's like, yeah, I saw that Google search when we were going to the Duke University. And I was like, and you know what? I defended you when Kaylee opened your laptop. So that was around the same time period too.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, we've got another one. The call's coming from inside the house. There's another one here.
And it's in Google.
Google knew it all. Google knew everything.
And she does know everything. Shout out to Bill Gates for being a real ally and not outing us.
Wait, but no.
God.
Actually, there was something that happened before. It was when your deepest, darkest secret was found out.
Actually, I think that was later.
Are you sure? I'm not so sure. It was around the same time period, but I feel like that happened before.
Yeah. You know, back in my day, I tried to be a little YouTube influencer, and I think, you know, everyone had that phase in high school.
Oh, I wasn't even going to expose this part.
No, and it's fine. We're letting it all out. We're living our truths. And on one of the videos, I forgot about this. I didn't forget this moment, but I forgot I talked about this on that video. And I was like, oh, cute life update. I have a truck. I got broken up with my girlfriend. And my deepest, darkest secret was revealed to my best friend. I don't suggest it. It's not fun. Like, I was, like, fully just went out of the blue, just took it 3 different directions.
It was a little out of pocket.
It was out of pocket. Just like I should have been out of the closet. But
you have to tell the story of how it started.
Okay,
though.
so let me set the scene. It is a Saturday, gloomy, cloudy in April, because it was our friend's birthday party that day. Our mutual friend had stayed over the night. She was like our little like third friend. Our family considered her to be like a second daughter to them. So she spends the night and then starts going through my drawer or something, or finds a notebook and starts reading through my shit.
No. That's not how it happened. We were playing like all types of random crazy game. We were doing dare games, just passing time, just literally stupid teenage stuff, daring each other to do stuff. And for some reason, we needed to write something down. Like there was something like we need to write something down or draw something, or we needed pen and paper.
Yeah.
And so she went and Kendall. Let's be fair. Kendall had this thing out on like the top of his dresser or something like that.
It was in my drawer, and it was my little journal. It was like my little personal notebook. I kept random stuff.
Well, it was quick and easy to get to.
Yeah.
And she got it, no reaction from Kendall. And then she opened it and started flipping like just to a blank page, and then she happened to land on a certain page. Everything froze, and Kendall went dead. 2 seconds, Kendall disconnected from life.
Yes. Once again, just paused. Then she found a page that I had written probably like 2 weeks before that. And I was like, Dear Diary, I am living my life. I am finding it easier to watch straight porn. I'm not really into gay porn as much recently. I think that's a good sign. Maybe I won't be gay. I literally wrote this down. It was my personal journal. And I don't know why this was the note. I don't know. I guess I didn't piece together that this was the notebook she was going in. I wasn't worried about it. I had never had anyone read through my journals before. I'd never been violated with my secrets like that. So
and
then she
just
found
said,
it.
what?
I just snatched it, ripped the page out, took it to our kitchen sink, burnt it, washed the ashes down the sink. I was like, okay, I'm going to go take a shower now and get ready for this party. Literally went in the shower, sat down in the floor, and just cried.
And you guys, I want to let you know.
Before the shower while the water was running to muffle
all
the cries.
of that is exactly how it happened, just that quickly. Kendall,
Yes.
I'm sitting on my bed. It seems like your secrets get revealed when I'm on my bed because we were sharing a room. Kendall rips that paper, then me and runs into the kitchen. Me and the friend follow, and we're like, what? And we find Kendall ripping up and then setting it on fire. Fully had set it on fire.
Flaming,
is watching it burn and throws it into the aluminum sink or
it was
steel
just
sink.
a basic sink.
Yeah, the metal gray sinks. He threw it into the sink, then he turned it on, washed the ashes away, and was like, I'm gonna go shower now. And me and the friend are just like, what? And she's like, I didn't see anything. Fully lying.
Yeah.
Trying to help, but
there's no helping that. Then we got it together, and then we went to a birthday party and pretended nothing happened. And then I stayed in the closet and got engaged to that woman.
Yes.
About 7 years later.
I was wondering if you were gonna reveal that was your ex-fiance.
Yeah. That was the ex-fiance. And you know what? I came out as bi later, so it was fine. But she was fully aware that the attraction to men was there.
Right.
It took me more time to get used to it. But let's just be honest. If we would just let people be themselves, this would have never had to be a whole dramatic turn of events that it was. But either way, that was very much a moment where it's like, I think this man is gay for sure. And by think we knew. I wrote it down.
Yeah, both of those two
it
pieces.
could have been held up in court as evidence.
The gay porn on the laptop and then the confession secret. And I didn't read the paper. To be fair, I didn't know what it said until years later. I'm talking almost finished with college. Kendall finally told me what it said.
Yeah.
But I had based off of the reaction of her and the reaction of Kendall, I had an idea that it was aligning with that. I mean, to be fair, I thought it was him saying, I think I'm gay or something like that. Which basically,
I said I think I was less gay.
Exactly. So, those two pieces put together, I was like, there is a faggot in our midst,
And she was me. Yeah, so that was I don't know. It's just something about the drama of it all. I'm gonna give you guys a performance every time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess the next moment for me with you was we had gone to college. Truly, Greg had already confessed there was like this guy that was in my grade. He was a friend to our friend group, but like I'd say like a second to third
Oh my
tier friend.
God.
Never really like was he a part of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And Greg had talked like Greg graduated high school, and that night we had a friend group, and so like one of the friends' parents hosted a graduation party for everyone. And so we invited this guy because he was in band with us and he's kind of a part of our circles.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently him and Greg shared like a little moment, and Greg was just like a little bit giddy that night. This guy had never ever had like like special solo moment with Greg ever in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
look,
you guys had a little special moment and you were just giddy about it. I was like,
here's
okay.
here's the thing.
It was
Okay.
cute though.
Yes, it was like, I don't even. First off, this has never been public. Like, you were the only person who ever knows. So I'm just like, whoa, oh my god, this is out there now. But it's also like not a big deal at
Yeah.
all now. But you're the only person I think I've ever talked to
We can
about it.
fully scrap this too.
No, 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 no. We can keep it as fun. I mean,
Okay.
if we're talking about your deepest, darkest secret, you know, and then you tell the whole world that you had a YouTube channel where you talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if these people find it, power to you,
Thank
because
you.
it takes me a while to find it, and I know what it is. But so yeah, that happened. But I think it was almost like you've seen Love Simon,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing most people listening to this have probably seen Love Simon.
Yeah.
It's like those moments where it's like you have that he had the one thing, and then he like fantasizes this whole big romance because like, oh, that guy likes these Oreos, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was almost something like that. It's like I was finally letting myself, because after I graduated, I'd like confessed to you that I was like, I think I like boys, you know?
Well, that really came around when we were in college. This was like your high school graduation.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. But that's when I was fully like, I wasn't trying to hide from being gay anymore to myself.
Okay.
Like at that point, I'd already admitted it to myself that like, I think I like guys. So I was letting myself have those like fantasies and things like that, you know? Like
Okay.
I could romanticize a guy or like let myself have a little bit of a crush on a guy. So I was like letting those moments happen, and I was getting giddy over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was like fully what that was for me.
Yeah, pretty much like at the graduation party, you two just like got left alone somehow and just kind of spent time together.
Yeah,
And the way you described it was there was just like certain little moments, certain little looks. For any of my people watching Heartstopper, when like the little leaves flutter between them.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it fully could have been one-sided. I was in my Delulu stage back in those days.
As
so,
you should be.
But I was like, it was definitely a heart stopper moment for me, and I was just
Yeah.
like, wow, you know.
Yeah. And then I think off of that, I was just like, okay, like this man's fully like not hiding that like boys do a little something to him. And I think the last moment before you honestly came out was you were like, oh, I think you were a freshman in college, and you were like,
No, I
oh,
told you before college because it was before I was moving out. It was like you had.
I guess I forgot then.
Yeah, I will let you know because I remember the exact moment. You had decided you were having a sleepover in my room. And so you like pulled your mattress into my bedroom. It was like I was about to move. We were both trying to deal with the fact that for the first time in our lives we were going to be separated. Like
Yeah.
I was going to college. You
Like
were
we
gonna
didn't have
stay
separate
here.
bedrooms except for like the last year of you being
Yeah,
in high
literally
school.
senior year of high school, you decided to get your own bedroom. Yes, we know that's a whole thing. You don't have to get into it, Kendall. I know you wanted to. I could see it, or I could
We'll-
feel it because I can't actually see you, but
we'll
I
wait.
could feel it.
We'll wait.
But you like pulled your like randomly. It was I think I'd already graduated, about to graduate, something like that.
Yeah.
And you fully just bust open my door, holding your mattress, plop it on the floor, and said, "We're having a sleepover tonight."
You're welcome.
And you stayed in the room, and so then you like stayed over, and then once the lights were out, but I had such a bad tendency. I mean, I do it to Danny now. It's like Kendall's like, the lights are out, we're going to sleep. Turn the lights out, and I'm like, so here's what I've been thinking about. Did you know the ancient Egyptians very much that type of energy?
Yeah, like please put the TikTok in.
Yes, that one is like the most important things an ancient Egyptian could do was die. That is literally me all the time.
The
every single
deep
night.
conversations we had, like literally we could be having a full conversation just like this. Lamp goes off, 2 seconds of silence, conversations back up. Like I don't know why, but it was just like these like after dark conversations, and me and you would just stay up talking all the time. And I think that's been a thing forever.
But there were times Kendall would just say, "Shut the hell up," or "I'm tired. I'm going to sleep, Greg."
Or I would ask you something that I knew you would talk a lot
Oh,
about,
this would piss me
and then I'd
off.
fall asleep on you.
Kendall would ask something he knew I could talk about nonstop for 15 minutes straight without needing like something back. So I would do it. I'd go on this whole spiel, giving my whole like energy, life, and everything, and then I'd be like, Kendall, boy went to sleep.
Yep.
Oh, I hated when he did that because I fell for it every single
Girl,
time.
I needed my beauty rest. You're a morning person. I'm not.
Yeah, that's the crazier part. But anyway, so it lights out, and then I told Kendall, I was like, Kendall, there's something I want to tell you. And Kendall was just like, okay.
Probably black this out.
And I was like, I think I am bisexual. Like, I like boys and girls. And it was just silent. And Kendall's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm pretty
Just
sure.
wanted you to defend your stance.
And so, like, we talked about it. And then I felt like, so relieved and everything because I'd said it. So, like, when I went off to college, I was like, Kendall knows. I've come out, da-da-da. So, like, college is like, this is where I can finally figure it all out, you know?
Yeah. I think I did the same thing. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I just casually slipped in, like, yeah, I think I'm bi, and then just left it there.
Well, see, you didn't even say anything then. You're like, well,
No,
I'm
like
happy.
years later, I
I'm
was
pretty
saying,
sure
like-
exactly what you said was, I'm happy for you and I still love you.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sweet. I don't remember
But,
that.
like, in a very awkward tone, like, you did not want to have this conversation.
And you know what? It was because it brought it closer to home, you know?
And also, I'd like to say, I found out years later, because I didn't start telling the rest of my friends and stuff until like a year after this point. And it turns out, Kendall said it was a traumatic moment, so he had to go and tell one of our friends.
The moment that I told was when you were in college and you were like, I downloaded Tinder and I'm seeing guys and girls. It's a vanity project. I just want to see if boys and girls like me. This is when I remember you kind of like coming out to me.
Well, that's when you were the only person I would talk about it with because you already knew.
Oh, well, I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't surprising, but yeah, but the funny thing that I loved from that is that you were like, oh, like, I'm matching with different guys and girls or whatever, just like seeing what, like, if guys like me, like, I just don't know if I'm like pretty enough. I just want to find out. And then you started exposing all of the down low gays in our hometown.
Yes! I was like,
ooh,
I
would have
alone.
never, girl, the one that gagged me, there was this one guy, he was like popular, he was cute, like, nobody ever suspected it. He was just fun and cool and like just one of those guys that you would have never guessed. Like on sports teams, was smart but wasn't in like the top percentage, just like totally invited to every party, everything. And you told me, I was like, ooh.
I'm just like, oh my God. Because okay, I started doing it in college because me and Kendall roomed together his freshman year. We had like a dorm together. And so I was just like, anything gay I could say, I would throw it at Kendall because I needed somewhere to share the gayness.
Yeah.
And I was on Tinder, like, swiping guys and girls. But let's be honest, there was definitely times I turned off to just guys, you know? So,
More information, Greg?
I know.
Oh, my God.
So, but then my favorite thing to do was to go home. I did not care who knew about me at this point. I was like, if they find out, they find out. But I loved seeing who was gay in our hometown when we'd go back for, like, a break or whatever. And the tea. Oh my God, it was so good. I love that shit. Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. That was a fun part. But so I guess we like made it up to you coming out. So I guess we don't have any more moments where I'm just like, girl. Like,
yeah, after that I was pretty.
It's like a see-through shower curtain at this point. It's not even a closet door. I guess if you don't have any more moments, then I guess
we need to talk about you coming out, like how you got to your
No, I'm gonna say like next I want to get into like coming out. So yeah, just I guess I'll start with my little coming out story. So for me, leading up to coming out, I was at the end of a 5-year relationship with a woman. I will say that it's not as black and white as like straight and gay to me, for myself. And you know, for people that want to fight on like, oh, you're gay if you're gay or whatever. I have a whole degree in this. Go fight with the wall. Actually, please go fight with the academic textbook. But they essentially, there's like the Kinsey scale, which is like super straight. Like 0 is, I believe, all the way straight. 6 is all the way gay. I feel like I'm falling at like a 5.5 to a 5. I did have a whole emotional connection. I was in that relationship, but I think since I've allowed myself to explore men, I feel it more deeply. So I say that to say I could be with women again, maybe, but I don't think it's where I want to go. It just doesn't feel as deep, but that's not to say that that connection couldn't come through. So I'm saying that to preface that, like, I just wasn't hiding in this relationship and I wasn't invested in it. I was emotionally invested. I was very much a part of this relationship, and I had actually come out as bi while in the relationship, and I was just kind of like open about being into men, but I still was with her. But she was the only person I'd ever been with.
Yeah, you were very casual about it. Like, I remember,
Yeah.
because I had basically already known, like, there was some suspicions and things going around. And then one day, we were just when we were living in Chapel Hill, you were just, y'all, the two of you were just casually talking about how you're both bi. And I was like, this is public knowledge now? I was like, this is just out? Okay.
You know, when it's serious, I'm just going to casually drop it like it was always there. Which, to be fair, it was.
Which is exactly what you did. And I just turned to you and I was like, okay. And like,
Yeah.
this is a thing. And then you two were just like, yeah, of course it is. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, cool.
So anyway, I was a part of that relationship. Got engaged. It fell apart. Truly, I think the engagement was like escalated it to the point that it should have fallen apart. Just outside of sexuality, I really think it was just at its peak. It had done what it needed to do. So, you know, broke up, and then I'm still like sitting with bisexual. And I know everyone makes the joke that bisexual is just the, you know, the stop on the way to being gay, which it truly is my truth, but I don't want to erase the bis out there.
Exactly.
Truly, I identify with the bisexual side. I think there's a lot of black and white, and like lots of you have to be in this corner, that corner, or this corner, and we don't allow enough sliding scale in the gay community, and we think of it more as like a scale when truly it's just a Venn diagram. And then also you have gender identity, which is its own other, you know, Venn diagram, but not enough people, I think, are accepting of that. But I find that like we're a lot more accepting. But so this was all at the end of 2021. So at this point, I've only been out for 2.5 years, which many people call a baby gay. And I get it. At first I was offended by it. I was like, girl, I'm like a whole 25-year-old man. What do you mean I'm a baby gay? But there's so many experiences that you have to go through, and we'll get through that. But I'm as bi, and then you and Danny take me out clubbing one night.
Yes, take you out to, clubbing, yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to jump to my
You're just like, you're single. This is like 3 weeks off the breakup. You guys like, you're single. You need to like get out there, shake some ass. Which, you know what? I'm going to give Danny his credit, because that man knows how to push somebody to get out of their shell. And I love that about him.
Yes, exactly.
So he is like pushing, and we go to the gay club. It's literally dead. There's like 5 people on this dance floor.
Yeah,
3 of them being us.
Well, also, it's like right after Christmas, but before New Year's. Like,
yeah, it was like students may have just been getting back to campus. Nobody was worried about clubbing yet.
No.
But we were out. And so we end up like dancing on the dance floor, and there's this guy that's like tall and kind of cute. He looks like he's very much like not with anybody either. And he's there with a girl and another guy, and we're like dancing on the dance floor. Then Danny starts like getting us to dance close, and then like pushes me and bumps me into him. Then we start dancing. He's like, oh, let's go get drinks. I'm like, oh my god, okay. And at this point I'm just like down for the plot. I'm like, I'm not even really drunk. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm still in like that denial stage of grieving the relationship I was just in. I'm like, I don't really fucking care. Like, I just want to go crazy. So I go there, do this drink, and then we get back to the dance floor, and like you and Danny were with me, and then his friends were with him, and then y'all have all retreated off the dance floor. So it's just me and him. We start dancing, and the next thing I know, I'm making out with this man.
Also, I'd love to say, I love how that's how you saw it. We did not retreat from the dance floor. We all just, like, scooted away to give you guys space. We were still on the dance floor, like, just, you know, a couple arms length away. But you were in your own.
It did feel like my own world, and I needed that. So my first gay experience was at the dance club. Didn't even know this man's name. Still don't to this day. Just on the dance floor dancing, and lights are going, music's playing. I'm in this weird emotional space where I feel like all I've been talking about is like this breakup and all these other things, and it just feels like this, almost like back to Heartstopper, or like a movie moment where everything just breaks. Me and this guy lock eyes. I'm like, I've never made out with anyone in the club before. Like, I've been in a relationship, so like I had no idea how this worked. This was before I had my little like gay kissing hurricane spin that I do at the club.
Yeah,
this was the birth of her. And so I am just like, we lock eyes, and the next thing I know, we're kissing. Like, this man's like 6'2", I'm 5'9". This man's bending over, tasted like garlic. He must have had Italian food or something. Like, you know, we were both just drinking beers. It felt like so straight, but like gay straight, like safe. So, you know, I start kissing this man. He has a little mustache. It tastes like, you know, garlic. And I'm like, okay. But whatever. Like, I'm making out this man. Looking back, probably one of the worst kisses I've had. Second worst. There was one other one. But yeah, so like making out with this man, and then he's on the dance. Like it's maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Definitely not my longest stint. But we're making out, dancing on the dance floor. I started backing my ass up on this man. Like once the gate was open, I was like, all right, we're out. Like I'm backing my ass up. I'm dancing on this man, doing all this other stuff. And then this man, like fully from behind, is like kissing on my neck, and he's like, "Yeah, you're a bottom." And I was like, "Oh, how
I remember
dare
that
you?"
messed with you so much.
So mad.
Kendall talked about that nonstop. I was like, I can't believe he said that. Oh my gosh, he doesn't even know me. Da, da, da.
Yeah. I mean, like, to be fair, I had only ever been out as bi and only ever touched a woman. So it was still thrilling, but it was interesting. And then I think my favorite part of this interaction is we walk away being called a bottom, and then he's like, "Oh, my girlfriend's going to hate me for this." Record scratch. What? Your girlfriend? I was like, you know what? It's not my problem. I don't have anybody.
Exactly.
So, you know, I was just in my freedom. I just wanted to let loose and go crazy. And so from there, it just, you know, I would like, you know, dabble back at going into the clubs, kissing boys. Then I think I just really just started like escalating from there. I ended up in like a 4-way makeout on the gay club floor. Then I start downloading Hinge, and I go out on Hinge as bisexual, and I'm like, oh, okay, like this is fine. I end up befriending a girl on there, which I came out as gay after I started like matching with people. I just loved her vibe. Shout out to Krissa if I ever, you know, she ever listens to this. She's like a whole PhD psychologist. She pretty much was like my free therapist because she was getting her doctorate in like mental health, but like me and her just related on so much. And it was this point where like for months I just sent this woman voice notes, and we would like send each other voice notes back and forth, just going on about our lives and talking to each other. And like we only met like maybe once or twice. So I guess it's a little bit like an online friendship, but I don't know, like I really appreciated her. She was just like this like glowing angel that came in and helped me like understand and work through a bunch of stuff, and was like this fresh set of ears I could talk about my breakup with. And I was like, honestly, like this is just a friendship. I'm fully gay now. Like she was one of the people, like one of the first 5 people I fully came out as gay to. Like it was just such a beautiful moment, and I really needed that space with her. I also matched with, shout out to this man who me and him connected instantly. We're like getting on. I was like, wow, this guy's really cool. And then I send you a picture, and you're like, girl, I went on a date with him 2 years ago. When I tell you I wanted to throw my iced coffee at the wall, because I was in the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru. I was getting my morning coffee and my little avocado toast.
I know that we've been talking for a little bit.
Yeah, like we had been talking for 2 weeks. Like I genuinely like was sitting there giggling at my phone. I was like, wow, like this is fun. Like I've never like connected with the guy, being out and being open to emotional connections.
You know what though? Before we get to the crossovers, because that is a whole thing, I just want to like do a quick of my coming out. You know.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You know, since we're like doing the come out thing, like before we jump into the next chapter, because it's gonna be a whole chapter. Basically, most of my coming out is kind of like I came out to you, but then I was secret for quite a bit, you know, and then college came around, and my coming out, I wish my coming out had been more like yours. Like, I wish I had, like, you know, gone out and, like, just, like, experienced, like, kissing people in clubs, da-da-da-da. But instead, I went straight to Tinder, and I ended up almost, I went on, like, 1 date or maybe 2 dates, and then I ended up dating the guy basically.
Yeah.
So I ended up with a boyfriend before I even kissed a guy. Like, okay, I think we kissed after
I never
one of our
realized
dates.
that.
Yeah. Like I never went. The first time I kissed a guy was the person who ended up becoming my boyfriend in college. And so then I fully had a boyfriend, and nobody knew about him except for Kendall.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, technically, I was still like being friends with my ex at that point, who was like a mutual friend of ours. And when you told me, I needed to process it. So I broke a little bit of the bro code, and I did tell her,
Right.
and we talked about it. But she was really
Exactly.
cool, and she like didn't say anything.
But a horrible
But I will
actress, because when I
apologize.
told her later, she's like, "What? No way!" And I was
The-
like, "Kendall, you fucking told her."
Yeah. I mean, like, sort of the same way that she was like, I read nothing. I saw nothing.
Yes, exactly. No Academy Awards being given, but so
yeah, sorry for breaking the bro code. on
Kendall,
that one.
I was telling Kendall about my gay things. I could tell he was uncomfortable, but I needed to tell someone because I had no one to share this with. Because I wasn't out to anybody, and I was starting my gay life. And Kendall's just like, okay. It's like, it made him so uncomfortable, and I think now I understand it a lot more. Back then I didn't. I was like, I have nobody else to talk to, so he's going to have to get over it.
Yeah, it was not even like I was homophobic. I was just like, I feel similar things, and I was afraid the more we talked about it, the more I'd be tempted to like come out myself, and I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I didn't think you were
So-
being homophobic or anything. It's
yeah.
just like, it was like the subject of me talking about men just made you uncomfortable, obviously. You know what I mean? Not like you hated gay people or anything like that. But so then I was like, okay, this guy's about to be my boyfriend. I have to do it. So then I start coming out to all of my friends one by one in college, and all of them were like, okay, oh, I'm happy for you. Okay. What, really? I had no idea. Happy for you. You know, like, it was just like your typical, like, it was really nice. I had a good group of friends. And then we can give a little shout out to Taryn. Taryn
Yeah,
was
hi,
the-
Taryn. I think you'll be listening to this while we're driving to Colorado.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Because it drops Sunday, so... Or
How's
no, it drops
traffic?
Monday. We'll be... Oh, shoot. We'll already be moved in by then.
Oh man, that's so sad.
It's okay.
Well,
I'll
I hope
make her
traffic
listen
was
to it.
great. I hope you made it.
Yeah, I hope our
completely
move
fine.
was great. I hope we made it in one piece. Lord willing, you know.
But Taryn was probably like my closest friend at this point, and I was so afraid to come out to her. She was the last person I came out to out of our friend group, and I remember she was so pissed. But like, and I fully like couldn't even say it to her. Like, we were in our dorm and everybody was there and everybody was waiting for me to tell Taryn, and so I just texted Taryn while we were all in the same room. It was so stupid, and she had to read the text, and then she knew that everybody else knew, and it was, I don't know.
And she is such a beautiful soul. Like, the way you were nervous to tell her, but like, out of anyone that I've known, she is the strongest wing woman I've ever had. This woman has helped me find men on the dance floor, has sat there through all of my stupid, trivial complaints about boys. Like, fully, she has probably been the most involved in our gay lives out of any of the other friends that were there at the time. And you were just like, I can't tell her. So you texted her.
It was.
Now, were you laying on the top bunk? Because I think our beds were bunked at this point.
They were bunked at this point. She was on your
In
bed.
our dorm room.
Yeah, she was on your
Fletcher
bed, and I
Hall
was at
to
my
all our
desk.
ECU grads.
I was at my desk.
Was it Fletcher or was it Fleming?
Fleming.
Fletcher was the music hall, yeah.
Yeah.
So in Fleming, the little, if you look at the skyline of the ECU campus, it's the C building.
Kendall. Well, you were. Okay.
This is my ambassador knowledge, girl. Leave me alone. I don't get to use it anywhere else.
But yeah, so then I like came out to my friends. It was great. And this is something that you didn't include in your coming out that I think we need to. It was coming out to our parents.
Yeah.
Because that was really big. Like, we both came out to, like, I came out to friends while we were in college. You were out of college, but we still had each our separate experience coming out to our parents. I came out to mom over the phone. She was in Virginia. I was in college, and I was like, I think I'd chicken out if I did it in person. And our mom,
Wait, I came out to her over the phone too.
yes, our mom is like the most loving, accepting. She's
Yes.
very crystals and energy. Like, there was not a single second that I thought she wouldn't accept and like still love us and everything. Like, not for a second, but that does not make it any less scary.
I know.
It was still
The
so
heart
scary.
palpitations, girl.
Yes. And I told mom on the phone, and tell me why. It turns out she's on speakerphone with Kaylee there too. So Kaylee gets to hear it too, but I'm like, fine, Kaylee can know, you know.
Yeah.
But I told mom, and she was like, I know, sweetheart. I was like, not pulling out the I know.
She did that to me.
She was like, I know, and I still love you, and I'm so happy if it makes you happy, da-da-da. And I was like, not the I know.
Okay, so I came out to her. Tell me why just this past year. She's like, yeah, I always knew, but you just have to let people live their lives. And, your stepdad used to be like, somebody has to tell him he's really going to, like, mess his life up. Like, somebody needs to talk to him. Like, you can't, like, he just we need to let him know it's okay. And then I'm like, so y'all are having all these deep, embedded discussions about my sexuality. You didn't even tell me when I came out. You literally just told me 2 years later randomly on, like, a Tuesday phone call home from work.
Oh, yeah, she had those conversations with me too.
Just like, okay. But you know what? She is the ultimate ally. Love
Mm-hmm.
mom so much. She would have never said anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard one was coming out to dad.
Yeah.
So to explain to people, I want to say first off, I have a good relationship with dad now, and he is on his way ally if he knows it or not. And he growing up, he was very homophobic, basically.
Yeah.
He has
it's
come
the South, the religious South.
right. He
Who's
has come
surprised? No
a
one.
very, 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 very long way. Like even to let you guys know, like he now refers to Danny as like his other son, stuff like that. So we're good. We're peachy keen these days. But coming out to him, me and him were like very rocky relationship at that time, and we were driving out to Kansas the summer like after I already had a boyfriend and everything. And so we're driving out to Kansas, and Kendall and Kaylee are asleep in the back seat, knocked out. I'm driving, dad's my shotgun. And I tell him, I'm like, I just love how I did it because it is the sassiest way I could have done it. And I was like, Dad, I have something to tell you. Kendall and Kaylee already knew at this point. Like, our cousins knew, or I came out to them that exact same summer, actually. So I was just like, Dad, there's something I need to tell you. And I know how you are. I need you to not speak. I need you to sit and think before you speak. Don't say anything. I'm going to tell you, and if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. You know? And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let you know if you have a bad response to it, it could possibly ruin our entire future relationship. I was so dramatic and so just like, because he is very much a speak before you think type of person. So I was like, just be quiet and don't say anything until you think. So then I told him, I am bisexual and I do have a boyfriend. And we just sat in silence for a couple minutes. And then he's like, well, I still love you. And I was just like, oh my God. Which was a really great response, especially for him back then. It was so coming out to dad was bad, but like we've taken him on quite the journey. He watches RuPaul's Drag Race. He refers to Danny as his son, stuff like that. He still has some growing to do, but he's come a long way. But your coming out with dad was a very different situation.
Yeah, it actually was the day after I kissed that guy at the club, and we're driving home, and he's like, "Oh, how was it hanging out with Greg?" I was like, "It was really good." I was like, "I could tell you more, but you're not gonna like it," and he just already, he already knew. And you know what? Like, it was a fun read in the moment, and he was just like, "Why did God give me all the gay kids?" And I'm just like, I was offended in the moment, and I'm just like, but you know, it wasn't a lie. Me and him had lots of conversations, and I think that's my biggest thing with coming out with parents, especially parents where, you know, it's definitely not an acceptable thing in their circles and their cultures or their religion. Just keep having conversations because me and him have, and we're on a fantastic note now. Like, it's fine. Me and him have had whole deeper conversations, talk things through. I think my favorite thing that's come out of those conversations was I was like, I didn't even come out to the family yet. He was like, everybody knew. We could tell because of the way you dressed. I was like, oh, okay.
But like,
okay, my whole entire wardrobe did change, and we've made some questionable choices.
there was we had family dinners every couple of Sundays.
Yeah.
Kendall those pink boots you guys saw, those pink Bratz doll shoes Kendall had, he fully had those shoes, and he was like, nobody knows.
And you know what? I am a firm believer in, like, you don't have to come out if you don't want to. Like, we don't make straight people come out. But if you feel like you want to say it just to clear the air, you can. I'm one of those people where I definitely, in my baby gay era, have made saying I'm gay a big part. Which I kind of want to get back into, like, the coming out experience. For me, because it's so fresh, and I did it you think there's so many things you have to do. You have to go here, do these things, kiss boys, dress this way, go to these events, go to these clubs, be a part of this,
Watch this movie, listen to this
know
music.
this singer. And I think the biggest thing with coming out for me was I thought it was going to be like roll credits, we're waving rainbow flags, we're rolling through fields, like we're spinning around scarves and like tall wheat grass, just living our best life. And then it turns out to be its own separate thing. It's a whole sequel. It's a trilogy. So I come out and I kiss the boy, which I just want to take a shout out. I don't know this man, but I think he gave me one of the most powerful feelings I've ever had and answered or really helped heal one of the big insecurities I've had, which is that I've always like I grew up overweight. I grew up, like buzz cuts, freckle faced, smart little band nerd. Like I really felt no part of me was cool, beautiful, desirable. Like I was just smart and I knew that adults appreciated me, but I felt like I was never welcomed or really appreciated by too many people my own age. And this man never learned my name, barely spoke to me, and just based on looks alone made out with me. With coming out, I was like, okay, like I'm out, I'm gay, boys are gonna like me now. Girl, it's a whole other game. There's a whole lot of different things I've come to find. I touched on it in the
Yeah.
dating, like even in the dating world, there's just like so much still like internalized homophobia and people
Oh,
who are just
yes.
against like, okay, you can be gay, but the only thing you can do is kiss boys, still look straight, dress straight, have straight interest, or
What?
perform for the straight people, do whatever
Mm-hmm.
makes you palatable and likable. And I had a whole moment with myself in the dating apps where I was like, I'm not getting likes, I'm not getting a lot of people. Like I would say out of 100 people I swiped on, maybe 5 to 10 of them were people that I was physically attracted to and swiped back on me. And I just like it really brought forward all of these unhealed little wounds.
Well, the problem
Yeah.
is there's also the problem of our own, and it's something that not too many people talk about. It's almost like you have this idea, you come out and like, bam, rainbow, like you were saying, the whole
Yeah.
red carpet, beautiful. But like you come out and then you have to address your own internalized homophobia,
Yes.
which is the hardest part of coming out. For me, it was definitely just dealing with like especially with us growing up in the religious South, as we've said. And even still, I'd like to say we still had a great mom who was like, express yourself how you want to be expressed, but it was still so hard. And then coming to grips with my own internalized homophobia was so hard. Like, I mean, I'll even admit now, like, there was like the whole idea of top and bottom was such a problem that I had to work through. It's like the top is like the masculine guy and the bottom is the like feminine girl in the relationship. And that is not a thing at all. Like, your position does not dictate your expression or
Yeah.
anything like that. And the thing is, one of my favorite things to say when people are like, so who's the boy and the girl? I was like, neither. They're both men. That's the whole point of being gay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's such a.
Another stereotype
Yeah.
I hate is like people will be like, gay men are attracted to masculine, and I get it. I do like obviously that there's a difference between preference and just like being closed minded, and that's everyone's own personal journey.
Right.
But I like there's so many people that are just like just be yourself. I think with me, gay pride isn't just like, oh, I get to wear fishnet tops and bedazzled boots and like all these things that I didn't feel safe to do. I could have always done that.
Yeah.
I stopped myself. That's the biggest thing is I could have always done those things that I wanted to do. And I think the biggest thing for me about being out and being gay is I just get whoever I wake up as today is who I am, and I don't have to limit myself to try to fit in a box I no longer fit in. And also in coming out, I tried to put myself in another box. And I think that's something that a lot of people get stuck on, as I was talking about in the dating episode, where there's people who just need that validation or a lot of this internalized shame. Like, just who are you? Be that, and then the rest will fall into place. And yeah, I think there are parts of me that are stereotypical and tropes. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna be, grouped in with the gay men before anyone else sees me. Like in this world, unfortunately, people read you first, ask questions later. So,
Yes.
people are gonna see me and be like, "Oh, that's a gay man." They're not gonna understand all the things that go into it, and I'm fine with that. I don't care what box people put me into. Fun little advice that I got randomly from the Museum of Sex in New York City from a RuPaul. Like, oh my god, what is it called? Those, the magical za or something machines where they give you fortunes. I recently have like been coming out, and I think I went into like one side of the scale where I was like barely dressing, like the flannel gay, like you talked about. Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna like do a little bit of this. Then I completely like I don't. This is just how I operate. I'm gonna head dive into the other side and experiment with that, and then I'll come out.
In many things in your life, you operate in extremes.
Yes, and you know what? It makes for good stories. But I went from like dressing kind of safe, like it was still me. I still dress like that some days, but I immediately went into like the heeled boots, the bedazzled boots, like the bright pants, the fishnets, like all the things.
Sheer shirts.
Yes, which obviously I love. like all these things that we, associate with like, oh, that's a gay man. Like
Mm-hmm.
all these things, I just dove head straight. I was like, if I'm gonna be gay, I'm going into all of it, and it just got very performative, and I got lost in that side the same way I was lost in the other
And I think
side.
that's where a lot of gays go, because I did the same thing. I did it in college, and that's what it is. It's a performative. It's like I'm gay, and it's almost like I need to prove I'm gay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I'm against these things, but like I was in the gay club and I was there every week. I was doing all the projects. I always like in college you never saw me without one of those rainbow bracelets because I needed to let people know that I am gay.
Yep.
And like I had like all these things, all these like shirts and rainbow things. Like I just needed to let people know because I do like my style has always been kind of like laid back. Like I like to like look nice. Like I go between like somewhere between like what preppy and kind of laid back gamer guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it fluctuates in there. So I'm not like I wasn't gonna go out like wearing like fishnets or anything like that just because it doesn't speak to me. So I would like needed like the rainbows everywhere and all that stuff like all the time. And it got to the point where I realized like I wasn't doing it because of I loved like wearing rainbow stuff. I was doing it as a performance to let people know I'm gay, accept me. Like I'm like I don't know. It's like this
I
whole
think that's part of it though. Like that's something I want to touch
mm-hmm,
on was like with the coming out experiences. Like you get performative. Like you're so used to, I think, when you're in the closet performing,
and I
and
think
you.
it's breaking those. It goes back to
Mm-hmm.
breaking the internalized homophobia. It's like there is none of that because I am so gay. You know, like I'm like
Yeah.
breaking down those ideas by like forcing myself away from that as much as possible.
And it's where I used, and it goes into like where I used to get offended by being called baby gay, but I think it's a process. You have to perform and go hard into the extreme, make your personality about being gay, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like they're like, it is a part of who you are. It's part of your personality. At the end of the day, there are
Mm-hmm.
shared experiences. There are these little moments. There's these little like in community, like, oh, I know because you did this, like, the Club Penguin thing, or like there's certain little things. It's just like, oh, like this is one of the gays, and you can tell. There's
Mm-hmm.
just that community part to it. Um, but I think for me, that part that really got to it, which now ties back to the RuPaul advice giver, like the grand wizard. Okay, let's not say that. What
The
is it?
RuPaul. I know what
Like
you're
the
talking about.
RuPaul,
It's
like
the
wizard
fortune
machine.
teller
Yeah, the
thing.
fortune tellers, the
The fortune
RuPaul
teller
fortune teller,
machines.
which is, and this is the single piece of advice that I think freed me, and it was before this, but like it was so nice to hear this again because I reflected on it. Was it is not your business what anyone else thinks of you. Like others' opinions of you are not your business.
Mm-hmm. Another good RuPaul quote is, "If they're not paying your bills, then pay those bitches no mind."
Exactly. So like
Mm-hmm.
I think that like it was part of coming out is that you have to get into this thing and be like, I'm gay, so I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this and I
Mm-hmm.
have to fit in these things. And then eventually I think for me there's just a point where I'm like, I'm exhausted. Like it's so exhausting having to perform in this way and work this way
Yeah.
and assign this person that label, this person this label. Like I still have fun. Like at the end of the day, sometimes like I'll still joke like, oh, that's a bottom, like things like that. But I'm not offended. Like call me a bottom, call me a top, whatever. Like I think let other people label you, let them tell on you, let people project their ideas on you of what they need to be real, their reality. Um, but honestly, just being who you are, I think that's my favorite thing about being gay. Um,
Well,
and
I've really enjoyed because I've come to this piece already, but like you're
mhm.
now getting into the point where you're finding out what it means to be gay as Kendall instead of what it means to be gay. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like what it
exactly.
means to
Yes,
you as an
exactly.
individual. Because I've kind of gone through that chapter already, and like when you first came out, it was so funny to me. But like I went through college, hardcore Rainbow Warrior, and all those things,
Yeah,
and
I think I was probably like 3, 4 years coming out after you.
yeah, and like I'm still gonna speak up if I hear someone saying shit. Like I'm
Mm,
still like there for gay rights and things like that. I vote, I do all those things, but I'm not like throwing glitter every room I walk into. And it's not that I'm against people who do that. It's just that's not really my personality. That's not me. Like
yeah.
you said, it was a performance I was putting on for the like being a part of the community. Because once you're a part of it, it's like you want to claim to being I am gay, accept this, like this is me, da da da, so hard.
Mm,
And it's a amazing thing, and I think it's something everyone goes through. But then after that, I was like, okay, I've made that, but like now, what does it mean to be gay as Greg? Like, who is Greg being gay? Because you almost like lose a part of yourself, and it's like
yeah.
so then incorporating it into like my lifestyle, my hobbies, like what's important to me and things like that. And I had become really comfortable as like who I was, how I lived my life as a gay man, but as Greg still. And then you were starting your rainbow warrior phase, and you're like, Greg, you've put down the rainbow flag. You need to pick it back up, basically. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not done fighting. It's not that I got tired. It's just like I've now I've fully integrated it into my personality instead of it being like on the forefront of, like, I'm not performing anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like fully
Or
integrated.
performing as you. You're not performing as what you think you
Yeah,
ought
exactly. Like I was not my baby gay stage and stuff like that. And I was still there. Like I'm still going to the gay clubs. I'm still like, yes, girl, the house down boots, watching RuPaul.
to be. Girl
voting.
is probably my number one word. Like, it is the number one vernacular Kendall is going to use. Is
Oh,
girl.
I love it. I was like, girl.
And my favorite
Everybody's girl.
And when I work in like such a straight coded heteronormative office environment in the engineering field, and
Yes.
I love to just be like, girl, what are you doing to straight men all the time? And
It
it's
is
like,
the best to girl a straight man.
It's just, it heals something.
But you're now getting to a point, like, again, you had your gay warrior phase. Like, literally, your gay warrior phase was even harder than mine because I was doing it in college surrounded by, like-minded people.
Yeah.
Kendall was fully doing it back in our hometown.
Yeah, like I was having to fight the gay injustices in little old small town North Carolina, which is I really wasn't like out there doing too much. It's just I was who I was. I was doing what I wanted to do.
Like, you didn't.
I guess, yeah.
I did it in, like, such a safe bubble of a college town, like a lot of people do. But you
Yeah.
were doing it, like, out in the, like, professional adult world / back in the hometown. Like, power to you because you definitely did it in a more, like, a more intense environment than I'd had to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I definitely spent a lot of time discussing what gay was, what it felt like to be gay, and I had lots of interesting conversations along the way and stuff like that. But yeah, I think again, just I'm now at like a point of like, okay, we're redefining, we're rebirthed. Now we just get to like figure it out and pick it up. And then I guess the next piece I would kind of want to talk about with coming out as gay is just like having to mourn that time you lost when you were in the closet. That's been a really big piece. And I was in the closet for so long, and I came out at 25, like frontal lobe developed. And so for 2 years, it feels like I've been playing catch up on like dating men, figuring out what I like, and just dating in general. Like I said, the last episode, like I was not at all dating. Like I just got with my best friend. And so, I still love that. It's a cute trope, but the like having to date people is so different. And then also like, I feel like I'm still like 23 and want to be irresponsible and make all these crazy choices and go do all these things. But like, I'm also 27 and like, there's like this kind of rock in a hard place of like, I deserve to feel free and be crazy and be out in the streets blowing all my money on clothes and drinking and partying and like that part of me that wants to do all those things and explore those parts of myself and like go on all these trips and not say no to myself, and because I spent so long denying parts of myself. But then also being like, okay, I'm still 27, time is still creeping, I can't just get complacent. Like I still do have to make these steps and hit these milestones to better myself and position myself, so that way I'm not 35 and still like waist deep in the club, not achieving any of the goals that I had set for myself, because there were some things that I had started to do before I came out that I put on pause. Like I was getting into writing and wanting to write a book, and then I just put that completely on pause because I've just been out living. But now it's almost just a little bit of silence has to be left for there's gonna be time that I'm not getting back. I don't get to be 21 and gay anymore. I don't get to be in the clubs the same way. I don't get to be as irresponsible. There's lots of experiences that people who came out sooner get to have and are gonna have those moments that I just unfortunately don't get to have.
And what makes me so happy is, like, what makes me feel good in my soul is, like, our generation coming out younger and things like that. Like, in college, it's made it easier for the generation younger than us. Like, they're now coming out in high school. So people are getting their gay high school experience, because that's what I lost. Like, you lost your younger 20s and high school, Yeah. And I lost my high school experience. But I just do want to speak on the fact that it makes me feel so good. I know some people get bitter about it, but for me, it makes me so happy that the younger generation are getting that like the Heartstopper experience in high school. Like,
oh my God. I watched that show. I'm like, damn, like the fact that this could have been my high school. Like, it's just so
Exactly.
sweet and so innocent. And maybe that's the part that I miss, is that I don't have that innocence with being gay anymore. Like, I'm already out in the streets,
Yeah, that's
riding, being a little tyrant, as Beyonce would call it. And
exactly.
I'm already just sexually active. I'm already dating. I already am on my own insurance, car loans, student loans, like all of these things, all these worldly pressures. And I don't get to have that innocent piece
Exactly.
of coming
That's
out.
exactly what I was about to work my way towards, because by the time we came out gay, like I did it in college, you did it after, like right after college basically. And it's the gay community is so sexually charged by that age. Like
Yeah.
it's unavoidable. It's there, like you're not going to miss that piece. In fact, that's
And that's
like
not a shame. It's just like,
oh, it's not a
we're
shame.
grown, we're bumping uglies. It is what it is.
Exactly. I mean, I partook in it. You partook in it. Like,
Yes.
it's a choice. You don't have to. But it's so ingrained in the community. But what we didn't get was that innocent puppy love, like high school romance that you see in media today. And it makes me so happy that it is something
I
that's
do love
represented.
it so much.
It makes me so happy. But if we're talking about like mourning and what we missed, both of us did miss that. And the main piece is just that innocence of the puppy love, like the whole writing notes in class and like taking them to prom and stuff like that. Like, we didn't get to have any of that, that's probably the only thing I mourn. But I'm also, I don't know, happy with the journey I've had to get here
Yeah.
where I am now. Like, I'm very happy with the journey, but like that's definitely something we've lost. But it doesn't keep me up at night anymore, because I know the next generation, or like my children, aren't gonna have that same issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think there's going to be different issues. And I know that, like, it's just not just the gays that don't get to date around and have people and those experiences and have those sweet, innocent puppy love moments. But yeah, I'm so happy that, like, people are younger are getting to experience that. And it's not so cliche, because even, oh my God, it was 10 years ago. Like 10 to, I guess, 15 years ago, like, it was still punishable public embarrassment to
by
be
far.
gay in high school. Like, you did
And I'm
not
sure it
come
still
out.
is in many places. I'm not saying that everybody has it easy now being gay. That's not what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it's getting better than it was.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there weren't shows like Heartstopper where, they had whole episode arcs just on kissing, but that existed for shows
Oh my
like
gosh, could you
Degrassi
imagine
and
if
stuff.
there was
Now, I
this
guess
much
Degrassi
good-
was a little bit.
Yeah.
She was there. She was there for the
Well,
gays.
they're Canadian, so they're nicer
Yeah.
anyway. But like, could you imagine if there was this much gay media like there is now back when we were in high school?
Yeah, and I think it would have saved. I think there's a lot of uninnocence that also happens when you're in the closet or you're that young, and I think that's just like a, like a porn thing. That's its own separate thing. It's not just the gays, but like, I don't think I would have had so many trials and tribulations with coming out and accepting myself if I would have just been like, oh, like, I can just be gay and still be Kendall.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the point we've gotten
In all honesty, the moment that it really clicked for me, and I ended up crying like a fucking baby in that movie theater, but Love, Simon, that, like, I related to that movie on so many levels, on so many things. And there was a part of me that was just like, I wish this had been around when I was in high school and started to figure it out myself. Because it was such a good representation. I mean, except for the fact that he was rich living in the suburbs. Could not relate to that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, the experience and everything, it was just like, yes, like, they got it. They did it. This is it,
Yeah, I mean, specifically that one scene with his mom where she's like, you used to be so happy and full of life, and it's just one day, like, you held your breath.
Yeah.
And now you're getting to release it. Like
you're finally getting to breathe again. I was crying.
I have chills now. But, like, I felt like I've pretty much been holding my breath since the age of 13, and I finally got to let it go. Like, it has been so beautiful and so amazing. And
you know what? I think that's the perfect example for explaining the gay, because it's like you release that breath, so then it's like so much gay. Like, when you first, like, it's like that powerful hit when it first comes out. It's just like gay, 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 gay,
Yeah, and I fully, like, I get that some people are annoying, and I hate that there's so much judgment, and I felt so much judgment when people would call me a baby gay, or they'd be like, oh, we think you're a bottom, and stuff like that. Like, it felt so annoying. I was like, girl, literally, the whole point of the gay community is to not be judged.
Yeah.
And I think that was my perception coming into it, but I think, it's not, again, it's just not as black and white. It's not like, okay, now whatever you do, you're not judged. there's so much judgment in the gay community, but I think you have to get to that point where others' opinions of you is not your business. Just do you, and everything's going to fall into place. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned, and my favorite thing about being gay.
Yeah.
I am me, and me is me.
Exactly.
And that's enough.
I think once I've genuinely been, like, referring to, like, the gay part, I've been so happy now that I feel like I've fully integrated it into, like, what it means to be gay as Greg, and I've really found, like, my happy spot, and, like, I'm very proud. Like, there's not pieces of my personality I hide anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love that there's
Exactly.
no hidden secret anymore. There's nothing, like, that I'm trying to keep hidden away. It's like, yes, I'm an adult man, married to a man. I collect dolls. You know, like, it's nothing. And I'm not, also don't feel like I dress the way that, like, makes me happy. I'm not dressing to appease the straights or to appease the gays. I'm like, I'm dressing how I dress. If you like it, cool. If you don't, whatever. It's not on you. It's on me.
Exactly. That's such a thing for me too. Like, I always loved fashion and clothes. Used to sit there and watch mom put her makeup on. Like, I've been in love with jewelry
that's such an experience,
and makeup and clothing, and coming out allowed me to explore that. And I went from, like, trendy to interesting. Like, I've been all over the place, full circle. And at the end of the day, like, it's just your style. Yeah. Like, the oots is just my style. Like, I might lean into trends. I might have items that are trendy because that's what's selling right now. But at the end of the day, like, once you find your style, you find your groove, you find your spot, I just feel there's, like, a core part of me that used to be so shaky, and now it's solid. Like, I have my foundation rebuilt. I've rebirthed myself. The foundation's there. Now we're building up the cute walls. Let's bring it back to Sims, you know? Like, the foundation is in, the shape of the house is laid out, and now we're just building the walls, painting, decorating, adding in little gardens and all these other things. And I don't know.
I would like to say, since you brought up Sims, I feel like that's another thing. I don't think we even began to touch on anything, but the first time I ever experimented with the idea of gay was through The Sims. I wanted to give them credit.
Yes. Making them boys kiss each other, and I'll do it again.
Exactly. Like, that was the first, like, ever. And I felt so guilty about it, but also the part of me was like, but this is, you know, it was like a moment, you know?
Yeah, but I guess that was just, you know, happy pride to everybody. That was all I really had to say was be yourself. For
a mishmash of our gay coming out in life, I guess.
Thank you to all the people who have been out and been fighting for rights.
Yes, exactly.
To everyone figuring it out, have fun with it.
To generations new and old, we appreciate you all.
Exactly. And to my people still in the closet, you know, once you're safe, I wish the best for you.
Absolutely.
Go through your little baby gay warrior phase. You deserve it. You held it in for long enough.
Exactly. Let that breath out.
Exactly.
When you're ready, and it's safe to. Like, don't let anyone force you out before you're not ready to.
Exactly.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
Literally, there's no shame in being in the closet. Get out when you need to, you know?
All right. Well, I guess that's all I had to talk about. Happy Pride to everyone.
Happy Pride.
The gayest month of them all in both senses of the word. All right.
Talk to you later. Bye.